What is going on, traders, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you. Now in this video, we're going to be going over my watch list for the week of December 13th, 2021. All right, let's get to it. Okay, the first one I want to talk about is Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. Now you can see Apple's been on a nice run since the beginning of December. This is December 2nd, and it's been running all the way up to almost an all-time high again of $180 for, let me zoom in a little bit right here. So for next week, you can see on Wednesday and Thursday, it consolidating in this zone right here before shooting up on Friday. What I'm looking for is on Monday and the beginning of next week is for Apple to come down and test this area around 175.80 and see if it can bounce off of this and hit an all-time high. If it can't hold this level, then I'm looking for it to come down and consolidate between 173 and 175 for a couple of days. All right, next up is AFRM, ticker symbol AFRM. Now before AFRM went on this massive run from like 46 to 70, and then it pushed up all the way to its all-time high, it took a pit stop right here and consolidated around $105 to $125 before hitting its all-time high. It's sold off since then, and now it's back in this zone. Now if I zoom in a little bit right here on this zone area, you can see, this is the 4-hour chart, you can see that once it got in this zone, it bounced off around $103, and then it got up to a little bit over 125, and it went back down again. So what I'm looking for next week is for a firm to continue consolidating in this zone. So if you're buy puts or calls, you can make money riding this up and down, up and down. All right, next up is DraftKings, ticker symbol DKNG. Now, DraftKings has been as high as around $75 before selling off, recovered back up to around $65 before selling all the way down to $27.50 or so. Now, if I zoom in right here on the last couple of weeks, you can see here that DraftKings double bottomed around $27.50 and then headed back up. So what I'm watching for next week on DraftKings is for it to come back down and test this zone, and if it keeps selling off, to bounce off around $27.50 again before hitting back up again. All right. Next up is DocuSign, ticker symbol DOCU. Let's zoom in a little bit right here. Everybody knows about the massive sell-off that DocuSign had last week after its earnings, and it bottomed around $131 before bouncing up. It hit that same area this week before bouncing back up again, getting as high as around $163 before coming back down. So I'm not really planning on trading this one, but I will be watching it to see if it'll sell off next week and then bounce again at 131. Now if I see that becoming a pattern within DocuSign, then I may add this one to my watch list to go ahead and scalp it up and down within this zone. Okay. All right, next up is Ford, ticker symbol F. Now Ford's been on a nice run since they announced the F-150 Lightning. Even I bought leaps for 2023 based off that news. But in the meantime, until that catalyst shows up, you can still trade this one. Now you can see here, since the beginning of November, Ford has been trading within a dollar range between 1930 and 2030. Up and down, up and down. But on Friday, it had a lot of volume and it pushed past this 2030, and this would have been a nice day trade if anybody caught that one. And like I said, it only moved up $1, so this was a dollar range from 1930 to 2030, and then this one moved from like 2040 up to 2150 or so. I'm not sure if they can continue this type of volume and this momentum. So next week, I wouldn't be surprised if it came back down and tested this 2030 and not hold, and then come all the way back down to around $19.30 or so. Either way, I'll be watching this one to see if I can get a quick scalp out of it. All right, because these options are pretty cheap. All right, next up is Oracle, ticker symbol ORCL. Now, Oracle had great earnings the other day, and it capped up around $20 because of it. You can see right here, it went from around $89 and got as high as $106 before cooling off a little bit. Now, Oracle normally has a trading range in a day of like $2 to $4 max, so it can go from like 88 to 90 or 88 to 92 and then come back down again. Now, this consolidation zone that I have right here is from around the end of July up until now. So this is the range that it's been trading in for the most part before it did this little breakout right here. So for next week, I'm looking for Oracle to go ahead and try to test this previous resistance of around $98. If it can't hold this, I'll look for it to come down and test this old resistance around $92. Okay. All right, next up is PayPal, ticker symbol PYPL. Now you can see here, let me zoom in a little bit right here. PayPal has got as high as $310 back in, the last week of July. It got up to $310 before selling off all the way down to $180. If I zoom in a little bit more, you can see PayPal double bottomed around $178.50. All right. Now I'm not sure if that is the bottom for PayPal, but it did double bottom on the weekly at this level, and it did get all the way up to around 198. You see this really long top wick. It's a green candle, but it had a really long top wick on this one, so I'm not really sure if this is a sign of a reversal just yet. I won't even consider this a sign of reversing until PayPal gets over $205. Okay, so if PayPal can't hold this 180 mark, I'm looking for it to come down and test the 200-day moving average, which will be around $153. That would be wild if it got this low, and I doubt it will, but you never know in this market. All right, so I'll be keeping this one on my watch list to short it down to the 200-day moving average, or I'll long it after it gets over 205. All right. All right, next up is Roblox, ticker symbol RBLX. Now, Roblox is becoming one of my favorite tickers to trade because it has a lot of volume. It has a range of $10 to $20 in a day, and it moves quickly. Okay. Now, on Wednesday morning, this was my favorite trade of the week. On Wednesday morning pre-market, I was looking at this chart and I was like, is this a inverse head and shoulders on the 15-minute right here? Let me zoom in a little bit right here, and you can see right here, I was like, if Roblox breaks $118, I'm getting in this one. If it breaks out of this consolidation zone right out of the box, I'm getting in this trade. And sure enough, I waited a little while, and sure enough, it broke out at around 10:45. I hopped in the trade and I rode it all the way up, and I got out around right here. All right, this was a great trade. Now, if I zoom back out again, what I'm looking for next week is this another head and shoulders right here? If I look at this as a shoulder, this as a head, and this as another shoulder, waiting for this to curl back up again. So I'll be looking next week to see if Roblox can break out of this consolidation zone again and run again. Let me see if I move on the 1 hour, if it looks a little bit better. Let me zoom in. So this is shoulder, this a head, this is a shoulder. So if it curls back up, then I'll get in this trade again. All right. Okay, the last thing I want to mention is for those of you that use Twitter, consider adding me to your follows at Blaze Stocks. All right. Now, as you can see from this tweet here, I was doing my chart work and I came across Walmart around 1 o'clock in the morning, and I just had to post this one. I don't post often, but if I like a setup, I will post that on Twitter. All right. And you can see here that Walmart has been trading in a zone between $135 and $151. And when I saw this, I saw that it was towards the bottom of this zone at that time. And Walmart ended up running all the way up to like $141. So this would have been a nice trade if you had got in on it. All right. And that is the end of the video. If you found value, please feel free to give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Here's wishing you a happy and healthy and prosperous week of trading and a happy holiday season. Until next week, talk to you later.